Hey, what's everyone up to today? For all of my American friends, I want to say Happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone has a great week, enjoys time with friends and family. Hopefully we can all find some downtime to build some slides and coasters. So today we're theming our first 2 tube slides. As you can see, I'm still getting the feel of what pieces are available and where pieces are located in the menus. I'm using a real-life reference for what we will be building, but it still takes a minute to really get the ball rolling and get it to fit into what we've already got here ride-wise and terrain-wise. I've tried to avoid really griping about the game. I guess it's pretty common knowledge now that a lot of people have been upset about some things. I find myself more in the camp of feeling like there are definitely things that I'm not a super fan of, but other things that I think are wonderful. For me, the bottom line is that it is a ton of fun to play and build new things. With that being said, one of the gripes I do have is the color scheme changing when selecting a piece from the same family of objects. In Planko 1, if you change the colors on, say, a 4-meter wall, then selected the 2-meter wall from the same family, the colors would match. You didn't need to reselect all of the colors. But in Planko 2, that is not the case. Like I said, it's just a little gripe. It doesn't make the game unplayable by any means, it just makes it a little less streamlined. But anyhow, you're going to see me doing a lot of changing and adjusting on this building as I go on. That's basically the way it goes with everything I build. I start out doing something, then see something else that changes my idea, and I go in a slightly different direction. That is what I think everyone needs to keep in mind with this game. It's totally normal, and that is how your building style progresses. It opens your eyes to different things that improve your designs. One of those things that I mentioned as a big improvement is the addition of these non-gridded wall pieces. It adds so much flexibility to be able to match the gridded walls with pieces that you can advance move. Scaling is one of the other major improvements. I mean, my gosh, it is amazing to be able to adjust the size of things to make them actually fit the space you want, instead of having to adjust your build to fit the size of a piece that you want to use. It really is a game changer. Alright, so just being honest here, I know I'm not the best at voiceovers. I'm still pretty new to making these videos, and honestly, I'm not the type to talk a lot in general, but I do listen to feedback, and I totally get that more talking makes for a better experience. I've seen that in the creators I enjoy watching too. That said, I find it really challenging to keep talking throughout the whole video. A lot of what I'm doing in these builds is trial and error, placing little pieces, working on rock formations, or adding bushes, and explaining all of that doesn't always come naturally to me, at least not yet. I do believe I'll get better over time, and I want you all to know that I'm actively working on improving in that area. With that in mind, I'm trying something a bit different in this video. For the sections where it's just music playing over the footage, I've added a countdown that shows when the next part with commentary starts. If this works and makes things feel smoother, let me know, but if it's too distracting or just not helpful, I'd love to hear that feedback too. With all that being said, I really want to keep improving the content I'm creating, and your feedback helps me figure out what's working and what's not. This is something that I've got so many ideas for ways to do it differently, but I was a little limited based on the way I built the terrain and the slide. I didn't want the guests to have to carry their floats all the way to the top, It is pretty standard for that to be the case on these single rider inner tube slides, but why should that be the case in our park, right? You already have to make your way up to the top of this hill for the slide, so having the floats just there at the start for you means that you can enjoy the scenery and look forward to the ride while not having to worry about holding on to this float. Then when you're getting out of the pool, you drop your float off and an attendant takes care of making sure it gets where it needs to be for the next riders. It's a no-brainer as far as guest experience, in my opinion. The key to making something like this pile of floats look realistic is avoiding symmetry. Natural motion is chaotic. No float should ever be in the same exact position as the one next to it. So when I'm placing them, I just give a slight rotation to each one, then I'll go back and adjust some so that they have the appearance of resting against one another. The idea here is that there's a lift system inside the building. The floats go in at the bottom, they are lifted up, and then slide out through the opening onto this table of rollers. The floats will naturally gather, slide off the end of the table, where a ride attendant can easily grab them and hand them to the guests. If it wasn't obvious already, I think now it's beginning to become clear what we're going for. I love the look of these old grist mills and sawmills. They are so classic and scenic and just have a look about them that everyone seems to recognize. For the float return, I was going for a very simple look. The floats can just be thrown onto this table, and gravity fed into the lift system to be returned to the top for the next guests. Nothing complex, no conveyor belts or anything like that, just a simple, smooth table that funnels into the lift. Okay, so this is another one of those things that I love about Planko 2. The simple text option. No more sinking signs into walls trying to get it pixel perfect to only see the text. What I did here is a typical graphical design technique for text. A drop shadow is an easy way to give the text just a little 3D look. Just duplicate your text, make the duplicated text a dark color, and move it back a few pixels, as well as down and to the side just a touch. Very easy way to elevate the text on your signs. Now I know this is a grist mill and not a sawmill, but we don't really have any scenery pieces to fit with that theme, so I'm fudging a little here just to make the area look more natural and less bare. Adding more bushes, some ivy, basically random green stuff gives it that more natural look as well. One gripe I've had since the beginning with Planko 1 is I wish the water physics could be improved to interact with scenery items. Nothing that I tried looks correct here with the water just going straight through the wooden trough, so I just abandoned that and went on. The water interacting with the water wheel looks much more real, and I figured that is a little more important to the scene, so I'm okay with the trough basically being only for show. Now this was probably the most tedious aspect of the entire build. I just could not get settled on the look I wanted for path railing. The railings that are available in the path editor in Planko 2 are very nice, and there's nothing at all wrong with using them, but I have just always found myself gravitating towards doing custom curbing and railing. Maybe I just enjoy the challenge? I don't know, but on slopes like this it can definitely be a task. I will say though that I really like the way this turned out once I settled on a plan. We're going to finish off with setting the backside of the scene. This will be part of the divide between the water park side and the theme park side, which we'll be starting on down the road. I do want there to be some interaction between the two, but I ultimately want them to be separate parks that can be enjoyed individually. I'm trying to just vary the scenery enough to make it look natural, but also make the sightlines work for people to feel immersed in the area. We're going to start wrapping up the area with a sign, letting guests know that they're on the path to the slides, and start building that suspense on the walk up. Again, we're going for just a nice little decoration, giving enough flair to not be too basic, but not going for an over-the-top outlandish theme. The final touches for the area are giving it some nighttime lighting. I'm making sure to light the signage, but leaving the rest of the structure to be bathed in shadows, giving it a slightly more mysterious feel as the sun is setting. These little fire pits were a last-minute addition that I'm not really sold on. I want something here at the path transition, but I'm not sure what I really want. I'm open to suggestions, so leave me some ideas in the comments about what you think can go here to sort of tie the path in with the plaza. And that wraps it up for this episode. Stay tuned for the next one where we dive into some more of the infrastructure stuff. We're going to finish theming our changing room building, adding some lockers, some other facilities for our guests as they enter the park. Beyond that, we'll be beginning work on the splash pad for the younger tots. Thanks everyone for sticking around, and I'm really glad you seem to be enjoying what we've done so far. See you all soon.